Seba Class 7 English Chapter 5 The Daffodils Solution in Raji. The Daffodils Lesson 5. Activities 1. Did you understand the theme of the poem? Discuss with your teacher the following questions orally. Then, write the answers in your exercise book. A. Read the first stanza. Then find the answer to the following question. With what does the poet William Wordsworth compare himself? And the poet Wordsworth compares himself with a piece of lonely cloud floating high above the high vales and hills.
It is hard life
B.
for the Kashmiri
Read the second
vendors
stanza.
because they have
Now
to
find out
travel
the following.
around the city on
With
foot,
what does Wordsworth
carrying a
compare the
bundle of things
daffodils?
to sell their
And
products.
the poet is amazed
Moreover,
by the
they stay
daffodils'
in
beauty.
cheap hotels
Thus he
and they
compared
eat
the
something
daffodils
in
with
the
the
morning
stars
and
that shine
spend
and
the rest
twinkle
of
on the
the day
Milky Way
roaming in the city,
continuously, and
remaining
also refer
hungry
them as a
and
crowd that
thirsty.
dances and
C.
flutters in the breeze
Why
and
was
tossing
the
their
author
heads in
surprised
sprightly
when his
dance.
brother-in-law called the
C.
vendors?
Read and recite the third stanza.
The author was
Now find out
surprised
what
when his
Wordsworth means
brother-in-law
by
called the
joke and
vendors
company
because
from
the
the
author
options
knew
below.
that he needed nothing
I.
from them.
Happy and
They all
cheerful.
knew that brother-in-law
Talkative.
wouldn't buy anything from
Quiet
them.
and sad.
D.
And
I felt sad
happy and
guilty
cheerful.
at being a party
D.
to such
Read
behavior.
and recite the lines.
What does the word
I gazed
party
and
mean
gazed
here?
but little thought. What
The
wealth the
party
show
here
brought to
means
me
to
had
take
brought.
sides.
What does the
author
poet mean
refers
by the
to the
word
behavior of his
wealth?
brother-in-law,
Why does he
who
use the
called
word
the
here?
Kashmiri vendors,
And
but
by the
everyone
word
knew
wealth,
that he didn't
the
need
poet
anything
means
from
that this
them.
sense of peace and joy are worth
Who
more
was
to the
kind?
speaker than wealth.
What was his deed of
He
kindness?
uses the word here because the daffodils was a
The
rich experience
brother-in-law
that
of
not
the
only
author
made
was
him happy
kind.
then but even
His act
later
of
on whenever he
kindness was to
recollected
offer
the memory.
food to the two Kashmiri vendors.
Read the last
Q.
stanza of the
2.
poem and find out the
Here is
following
some
information.
about the Kashmiri
What happens to the
vendors
poet
and
when
the
he lies on
author's
his couch in a
brother-in-law?
sad and thoughtful
Rewrite
mood?
them in the correct columns
And
according to
when the
what
poet
you have
lies on the
understood
couch in
from
a
the
sad and
story.
thoughtful mood, he
Ask
comes
the
down from the
vendors to
cloud
show
and
their
reveals the
goods.
reality of his
Travel
current
from
physical
Kashmir to
state.
different
Even though he no
cities.
longer sees the
Stay at
dancing waves
hotels
and
with
golden
minimum
daffodils, he says that he will never forget
Did not
them.
intend to buy
2.
anything.
Choose the correct
Walk
option
around
in
the
each of the
city on
following
foot to sell
questions.
their goods.
A.
Asked
The poet
wife to
compares
serve
himself
food to the
to
vendors.
I. A
Made
piece
the
of
offer
lonely
food
cloud.
look
E.
unplanned.
A host
The
of golden
Kashmiri
daffodils.
vendors, the
E.
brother-in-law.
A lake. IV. The trees.
1.2.3.4.
And I. A piece of lonely
1.2.3.4.
cloud.
Ansh.
B.
The
While wandering
Kashmiri
alone,
vendors,
the
the
poet saw
brother-in-law.
I. A
1.
crowd of people.
Travel from Kashmir
E.
to
Clouds
different
floating
cities.
over vales and
1.
hills.
Asked
E.
the
A
vendors
host
to
of
show
golden
their goods.
daffodils.
2.
IV.
Stay
A
at
lake.
hotels with minimum
And E.
facilities.
A host
2.
golden daffodils.
Did not intend to buy
C.
anything.
The poet compares the
3.
daffodils to
Walk around the
I.
city on
A
foot
lonely
to sell their
cloud.
goods.
E.
3.
A lake.
Asked
E.
wife to
The
serve
stars in
food
the
to
Milky Way.
vendors. Q.
IV.
3.
A boy.
Rearrange the
And
sentences
E. The
according
stars
to
in
the
the
order
Milky
in
Way.
which events happened in
D.
the story
The
and
Joke
write
and
them
Company,
in your notebook.
referred to as the company of
Two
Joke and
Kashmiri
Company.
vendors came in to
I.
sell their
The
goods.
daffodils.
B.
E.
The
The sparkling
brother-in-law
waves
made
of the lake.
offer of food look
E. The
incidental.
dancing daffodils and the
C.
waves of the
The
lake.
vendors had food and
IV.
left.
The stars in the
D.
Milky Way.
The brother-in-law
And
asked his
I.
wife to
The
bring some
daffodils.
food for the
E.
vendors.
The inward eye of the
E.
poet
The
is the
brother-in-law
poet's.
inquired
I.
about their goods.
Vacant mood.
F.
E.
The vendors
Thoughtful mood.
hesitated to
E.
take the food.
Imagination.
G. The
IV.
vendors left,
Bliss of solitude.
promising to bring better
And
things next
E.
year.
Imagination.
I.
Q3.
The two Kashmiri
Read the
vendors
poem and match
came in
the
to sell
following.
their goods.
The waves
2.
filled with pleasure and danced with the
brother-in-law inquired
daffodils.
about their goods.
The poet danced beside
3.
the daffodils.
The brother-in-law
A
asked
cloud
his
stretched
wife
in a
to bring
never-ending
some food
line.
for the vendors.
The daffodils floated
4.
over valleys
the
and
vendors
hills.
hesitated
The
to
poet's
take the
heart
food.
saw a host of
V.
golden
The
daffodils.
vendors had food and
And
left.
the waves
Y.
danced beside the
vendors
daffodils.
left,
The
promising
poet
to
saw a
bring
host
better
of golden
things next
daffodils.
year.
A
7.
cloud
The
floated over
brother-in-law
valleys
made
and
the
hills.
offer of food look
The daffodils
incidental.
stretched in a
Q.
never-ending
4.
line.
Read
The
this
poet's heart filled with
conversation
pleasure
between
and
a
danced
vendor
with the
and his
daffodils.
customer. Then
Q4.
work in
Read
pairs
the poem
and play
again
the
and
roles
answer
of
the following
customer and
questions.
the vendor by
A.
taking turns.
Find a word in stanza 1 that
Vegetable
means
vendor,
to roam
calling
about.
out for customers.
And
Come
wanted,
one.
wander.
Come all.
B.
Buy farm
Find out
fresh
what o'er
vegetables.
means.
Be healthy.
How will you write the
Be
actual
happy.
word? And
Customer,
o'er
how
greater than
nice
over.
and fresh your
The actual
vegetables
word
look.
is over.
What is the
C.
price of your
Find
tomatoes,
a word in stanza 2
cucumbers
which
and
means
potatoes?
a lake.
Vegetable
And
vendor.
a bay.
The
D.
tomatoes cost
What does the poet refer to when he says 10,000 saw I?
55/
And
the potatoes
the poet refers to the unnumbered when he
35/
says
per
10,000
kilogram.
saw I.
Customer, why are
E.
your prices
What
so
is
high?
sprightly
The
dance?
other vendors are
And
selling these
sprightly
vegetables
dance
for
means
much
dancing in glee.
less. Vegetable
F.
vendor.
Give another
Their
word each
prices
for
may be
glee
lower,
and
madam,
jocund.
but the health
And
cost that
glee
you will
happy,
have to
a
bear
feeling of
after
great
consuming
delight.
these
G.
vegetables will be
What is
quite high.
outdid?
Mine
In
are
outdid the
organic
sparkling
and free of
waves.
chemicals. daffodils.
Ands, in,
Customer,
outdid,
you are right.
the sparkling
We
waves,
should eat healthy.
outdid, means
Chemical-free
defeated
food only.
the sparkling waves.
How much will you charge
H.
for a handful
Give
of
the opposite
green
of the
chilies
following
and
words.
half a kilogram of
Vacant,
customer capsicum?
pleasure, bliss.
Vegetable
Ands.
vendor.
Vacant, full pleasure,
for the
displeasure,
chilies
bliss,
and
sorrow.
Rs100
Q5.
for the
A beautiful
capsicums.
poem is meant to
Madam.
be recited.
Customer.
Listen to the
Oh, I
teacher
see.
reading to you the
How
following
much
pairs
do
of
I
words
need
from the
to pay
poem.
you?
Then repeat the
Vegetable
words
vendor.
after the teacher
Here
and
are your
practice the
vegetables,
pronunciation of each
madam.
word.
The total
This will
cost
help you
comes to
recite the poem.
Rs260
A. Wandered,
You
wandered.
can pay
B.
me
Breeze,
Rs250
bridge.
I'll
C.
give you the green
Shine,
chilies
sing.
free of
D.
cost.
Stretched, stressed.
Customer.
E.
Thank you
They,
so
day.
much.
F.
Here is
Show,
a
so. G.
Rs2000
Flash,
note.
flesh.
Do
H.
you have change?
Heart hunt. 6.
Vegetable vendor.
Let's go back to the
Yes,
poem once
I
more
do,
and note
madam.
the following.
Here you are.
A.
Do
The
come
first
again.
line, L1,
Ansh,
of the poem
do
ends with
yourself and you
clouds.
try to play the roles
B.
with the help of
L2
your teacher.
ends with hills.
Q5.
C.
Look at
L3
the
ends with a
pictures
crowd.
below carefully.
D.
Then
L4
listen
ends
to
with
your teacher
daffodils.
to read a travel
Note
guide
that
for
cloud and
Assam.
crowd are pairs
As
of
you
rhyming
listen,
words.
fill in the
Also
boxes
note
under
that
the
hills and
pictures with the
daffodils are a
correct
pair of
words.
rhyming words.
After you finish,
Now make a list of
exchange
the
your
other rhyming
textbook with
words
a
in the poem.
partner. Then read the
Ands.
passage yourself
Trees,
and
breeze,
check
thought,
if your
brought, shine,
friend
line,
has
lie,
written
eye,
the
way,
answer
bay, mood,
correctly.
solitude, glance, dance,
Ansh,
fills,
Assam
daffodils,
is
they, gay,
famous
choose
for.
from the box the word
6.
rhyming with the underlined
Let's
word and
practice some
complete the
grammar.
sentences.
Work in pairs.
Still dancing, mood,
Here
breeze.
are some
I.
sentences.
The sun is
Each
shining and the
sentence has
girl
a
is.
second sentence
E.
after it,
The forest
with
is
a
full of
blank.
green trees and
Fill
the
in
flowers are
blanks with
dancing
the
in the
correct
cool.
words.
E.
One is done
On the
for
top
you.
of the bare hill I
A.
stand mute
The
and.
wares belong to the
IV.
Kashmiri
Don't
vendors.
spoil my.
They
By
are
being
their
so
wares.
rude. Ands.
B.
I.
The wares
The
were
sun is
carried
shining
on the
and the
back
girl
of the
is
younger
dancing.
vendor.
E.
He
The
carried
forest
the
is full
wares
of green
on
trees and the
back.
flowers are dancing in the
C.
cool breeze.
The author's brother-in-law
E.
called
On the
out to
top
the
of the bare
vendors.
hill I
He
stand
called
mute and
them
still.
in. House.
IV.
D.
Don't
The
spoil my
author was
mood by being
unhappy
so
when the
rude.
brother-in-law called in
7.
the Kashmiri
A.
vendors.
Rewrite the
He
following
thought,
poetic lines
I
in
do not
everyday
want
English.
to buy anything and
I.
waste
10,000
money.
saw I at a glance.
Ansh. A.
E.
The
For
wares
oft when on
belong
my
to the
couch I lie in
Kashmiri
vacant
vendors.
or in pensive
They are
mood.
their wares.
E. Then
B.
my heart with
The
pleasure
wares were
fills.
carried on the back of the
Ands.
younger
I.
vendor.
I saw
He
unnumbered
carried
flowers
the
at one
vendors
sight
on
of
his
my
back.
eyes.
C. The
Often when I
author's
was lying in my
brother-in-law
bed
called
thinking
out to the
anything in the sad
vendors.
moment.
He called them into
E.
his house.
Then my heart filled with
D.
pleasure.
The author
B.
was unhappy
Find
when
two
the
words in the
brother-in-law
poem that are
called in the
poetic in
Kashmiri
form and are not
vendors.
used in
He
prose.
thought, I do
Write
not
a sentence
want to buy
illustrating the
anything
use
and
of
waste
each of the
my
two
money.
words.
7. Read
Ands.
the text once
Over
again.
equals over.
Find
train
out
goes
that
from
have
over the
been
bridge.
qualified by
Oft
possessive
equals often.
determiners and
He often
complete
goes
the
to
table
gym.
given below.
C.
One
Illustrate the
example
differences
has
in
been
meaning
done for
between
you.
gaze and
Possessive
stare
determiner
by
nouns
writing a sentence
qualified.
using each.
1.
Ands.
There one.
Gaze. He
Shawls.
gazed at the lily flower.
Ansh.
Stare. The
Possessive
girl stares
determiner
at the
nouns
frock when she
qualified.
walks from there.
1.
Q8.
There one.
Note that one word in
Shawls.
each of the following lines
2.
is wrong.
There 2.
Rewrite the
Hardship.
extract below by replacing
3.
the word with the
My
correct
3.
word of the poem.
Sister.
The trees
4.
beside them danced,
His
but they
4.
outdid the
Wife.
twinkling waves in glee.
5.
A cloud
Her
could not
5.
but be gay
Husband.
in such a joyous
6.
company. I
There
gazed
6.
and gazed, but also
Families.
thought, what
7.
wealth the sight to me
There
had brought.
7.
Ands.
Pride.
The waves beside them
Now,
danced,
practice
but they
using some
outdid the
determiners.
sparkling waves
Fill in
in
the
glee.
blanks with the
A poet
appropriate
could not but be
possessive
gay
determiners.
in such a
One
jocund
is done for
company.
you.
I gazed and
I.
gazed, but
The
little
wares
thought,
belong to us.
what wealth the
They
show
are
to me
our
had
wares.
brought. 9.
2.
Your
The
teacher
wares
will
were
divide you
carried
into
by you.
4 or 8
You
groups.
carried the wares
Each
on
group works on the
back.
stanza given to you.
3.
In
I
your
am
group,
writing a book.
discuss the stanza
It
given
is
to you and
book.
write the main idea of the
4.
stanza in
The
2 or more
Koagis are a
sentences.
proud people.
Then
They are
collect all
known
the
for
passages and paste them
pride.
on a chart paper
B.
along with the
We
poem
are from
and rang the
Assam.
chart in the class.
Assam is state.
Ands.
Ansh.
Stanza.
I.
1.
The wares belong
The
to
poet
us.
William Wordsworth
They are
wandered
our
from one
wares.
place to another
2.
like a cloud,
The wares
which
were
flew over
carried by
valleys and
you.
hills with the
You
flow of
carried
wind.
the wares on your back.
Suddenly the poet
3.
sees a
I
large
am
number of
writing a
blooming
book.
daffodils by
It
the
is
side
my
of the
book.
lake and under the
4.
trees.
The Koagis
The
are a
blowing
proud
breeze
people.
makes these daffodils
They are
dance
known
and
for
flutter
their
with it.
pride.
Stanza
B. We
2.
are from
In the
Assam.
second stanza, the
Assam
poet
is our
compares
state.
daffodils' beauty with the
Besides
stars.
possessives, there
Just
are
like
other kinds
stars,
of
the
determiners,
daffodils were shining
such
as they were golden
articles.
color and were
A.
twinkling as they
and
were fluttering in the breeze.
Demonstratives.
The
This,
daffodils are spreading
that,
over a very large
those,
area along the
these,
margin of a buoy.
qualifiers.
They
Few.
seem to stretch in an
few,
endless line.
some, any,
Stanza
etc.
3. The
Numerals,
waves in the lake
1,
beside these
2,
daffodils are
3,
also dancing with
4,
the
and
wind.
so on.
But in
Ordinals,
comparison to the
first,
daffodils, the waves are not as
second,
beautiful and
third,
attractive.
fourth, and so on.
The poet says
and
that the waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in
the
glee.
passage below,
The joyful
Radha
dance of the
is
daffodils
telling
was
her
far
friend
better than
Rohit
theirs.
about her neighborhood.
Stanza
In
4.
Radha's
In the fourth and
description,
final
all the
stanza,
words
the
underlined
poet says
and
that while
written in
sitting on his
bold are
couch, the
determiners.
images of daffodils
Radha,
flash
we
upon
live
his
in Adarsh
imagination.
Nagar.
The image of daffodils always comes to the mind of the poet whenever the poet is all alone. It was his joy in loneliness and his heart filled with pleasure with the dances of the daffodils.
My house is located
He
in
also
the
feels
second
like
lane of our
dancing with
locality.
daffodils.
We have
Q10.
a beautiful
Let's learn
garden
some
in
grammar.
front of our
Here are some
house.
lines that tell us
My
what the
mother
poet
looks
said he was
after
doing
it.
in the poem.
My neighbors also
Working
have
with your
beautiful
partner, fill in the
gardens
blank
front of their
spaces with the
house.
correct from of the
Every
word.
neighbor has one or more
One day,
pet
the poet
dogs.
William
One
Wordsworth
of
was
our
wandering
neighbors
alone
is
along
Mr.
a lake.
Rahman. He
All
has
at once,
4 dogs.
he,
I
see,
love
a
to
hot
play
of
with
golden
his dogs.
daffodils.
His wife
The
loves to
daffodils
bake cakes
dance
and
in the
biscuits.
breeze.
I
The
love her
poet
cakes and
compared
biscuits.
the
Here are a
daffodils to
few
the stars
pictures
on the
of her
Milky Way.
cakes.
They
Don't they look
stretch
very
in a
tasty?
never-ending line along
She
the
has
side of the lake.
decorated these cakes very
He
beautifully.
notice
Hasn't she?
that the waves of the
She
lake were
sent
also
some cakes for me
dance
yesterday.
joyfully. He
How would Rohit describe
enjoy
his neighborhood?
the scene very
Walking in
much.
pairs.
Later,
Help
in
Rohit
his sad
write a few
moments,
sentences
when the poet
describing the
often
place where he
recalls
lives.
the scene,
Fill in the
his
blanks
heart
in
filled
Rohit's
with joy
description
and
with appropriate
begin
determiners
to dance
from
with
the
the
brackets.
daffodils.
Then take turns to play
one
the
day
roles of
poet
Radha
William
and
Wordsworth
Rohit and
was
enact their
wandering alone
conversation.
along a lake.
Rohit.
All
All
at
at
once,
once,
he
he
saw
saw
a
a
host of
locality
golden
called
daffodils.
Borgaon.
The
It is
daffodils
beside
were
the
dancing
national
in
highway
breeze.
bypass.
The poet
You can
compared the
see
daffodils
his
to the stars on the Milky
my.
Way.
How
They stretched
right
in
from
a
the road.
never-ending line
It
along the
is
side of the
a
lake.
slash and
He
slash
noticed
the green
notice
roof that the
next
waves
to
of the lake were
his
also
slash
dancing
our
joyfully.
houses.
He enjoyed
And
the
slash
scene
the
very
slash
much.
my
Uncle's
Later,
bungalow, in his
my
sad moments,
slash
when the
his
poet often
roof is
recalled the
also
scene,
green, his
but
heart
it has a
filled
red
with joy
border
and
began to
every
dance
house
with the
in
daffodils.
his slash
Q.
their slash
11.
our.
Read
Lane
the
has a
poem
beautiful
carefully.
garden,
Pick
with
out
lots
the
of
words
flowers
from
and
each
big
stanza
trees.
that indicate or
My
refer
slash
to
his
some kind of
slash her.
action or
Mother
work.
loves
In
spending
your
time
exercise
tending
book,
to
make a
my
list of
slash
all the
their
action
slash her
words that you
favorite
have picked
plants.
out. Use the
and
dictionary to
his
find out the
slash their
meaning of the
slash our.
unfamiliar action
Neighbors
words.
sometimes
have garden
you can list the
competitions, my
words and their
friends,
meanings
and I
in a
love
table
these
as shown
competitions
below.
because everyone decorates.
Action word meaning.
His slash our slash their houses,
Action
and we
word
all come
meaning.
to decorate
One.
together to clean
Wonder
the
one.
neighborhood.
Danda.
Rohit.
2.
Our locality is
Floor
called
2.
Borgaon.
Danda.
It is
3.
beside the national
Saw
highway
3.
bypass.
Danda.
You can see
4.
my house right from
Fluttering
the road.
4.
It is the
Danda.
one with the green roof.
5.
Next to our
Dancing
house
5.
is my uncle's
Danda.
bungalow.
6.
His roof is also
Shine
green,
6.
but it has
Danda.
a red border.
7.
Every house in
Twinkle
our
7.
his slash
Danda.
their slash our
8.
lane has a
Stretch
beautiful
8.
garden
Danda.
with lots of followers
9.
and big
Tossing
trees.
9.
My mother
Danda.
loves spending time
10.
tending to her
Outdid
favorite
10.
plants.
Danda.
She and
12.
our neighbors sometimes
I
have
hear
garden
action words
competitions
that you have
my
listed
friends
refer
and
to
I
some
love these
kind of
competitions
action or work
because
done by
everyone
the
decorates
poet.
his house
Such
and we all
words are
come
called
together to
verbs.
clean the
Write
neighborhood.
down
some action
B.
words in column
Here
B
are
that
some more
match with the nouns
sentences
in
for
column
practice.
A. Fill in
Column
the
A,
blanks
column
in the
B.
sentences with the
Ansh.
appropriate determiner
Column A,
from the
column
choices
B.
given.
1.
I.
Clouds
There is
1.
water in the
Float.
jug.
2.
Some slash
Golden
golden daffodils
daffodils
2.
2.
Bloom. The teachers
3.
gave him
Stars
many
3.
slash much slash a
Sparkle.
lot of.
3
4.
of the boys was
Sparkling
given a
waves
prize.
4. Dance.
Each slash every
B.
slash much.
Working with your partner.
4.
Use
He
the verbs
relies
in
on the
column B and write 4
friends he
sentences
has,
that tell
little
what the
slash
nouns
few
in
slash
column A
any.
were doing.
V.
One
There
has
are
been done for you.
book on the
I.
shelf.
The
You may
cloud was
choose
floating
one.
over vales and hills.
Few slash a few slash
2,
the few.
3, 4.
6.
Ansh.
Do you have
2.
relatives
Golden
in the city?
daffodils were
Some
fluttering
slash
in the
any
breeze.
slash few.
3.
7.
Stars were
He is
sparkling in the sky.
electrical
4.
engineer.
Sparkling waves
A
were
slash and
dancing
slash the.
sprightly.
13.
8.
You have
He
come
left.
across the term
Hour
preposition.
ago.
You
A
know that
slash and
prepositions
slash
are
the.
words like at, as,
A
by,
and S.
for, to,
I. There
etc.
is some water
These
in
words
the
are
jug.
usually placed before a
2.
noun or a
The
pronoun
teachers gave him a
to
lot
show
of
their relation to
advice.
place, time, direction,
3.
means,
Each of the
etc.
boys was given a
Look
prize.
at these phrases from the poem.
4.
I.
He relies
Over
on the
vales
few
and
friends
hills.
he has.
EI. Beside the lake.
V. There are a few
EI.
books on the
Beneath
shelf.
the trees.
You may choose one.
The underlined words
6.
are
Do you have
prepositions
any
denoting
relatives
place.
in the city?
Here are some more examples.
7.
I.
He is
In
an
the morning.
electrical engineer.
E. At noon.
8.
E.
He left
On
an
Monday.
hour later.
The underlined words
9.
above are
Look at these
prepositions
sentences
denoting
from the
time.
lesson.
Now
A.
read these
She knew
phrases.
that her
I.
husband
Up
wouldn't
the
buy
hill.
anything from
E.
them.
Down the road.
B. His
E.
wife,
To the north.
who was in the kitchen,
The underlined
got busy
words in these
making
3
tea.
examples are
C.
prepositions
When
denoting
my
direction.
brother-in-law asked
Here
me to
are some
buy
more
something.
phrases.
I politely
I
declined.
by car,
In all these
tie
sentences,
on foot,
there is a
tie
part that
with a
can make
knife,
complete
hereby
sense on its own.
denote how something
This
is
part
done.
is called the
For
main
example,
clause.
I cut the apple with a
Principal clause
knife.
also.
Now complete
the
the
other part is
sentences with the
dependent
correct
on the main
preposition.
clause to complete
I,
its meaning.
clouds float,
So it is called
hills
the
and
dependent
valleys,
or
on
subordinate
over
clause.
by.
I.
Now can
The
you say
daffodils
which parts
bloomed.
of the
A
sentences
lake.
B
Beneath.
and
Beside.
C
Between.
are the main
I.
clauses?
Stars were shining.
Write the
The
answers
night
below.
sky.
Ansh,
On, in,
B.
over.
His wife
I've.
was in the kitchen, main
They formed a
clause.
line.
C.
The share of
I
a bay.
politely
Beneath.
declined, main
Along for.
clause.
V.
Here are a
He would
few
often
more
lie.
sentences.
His couch
Each
lost
of
in
these
thoughts.
sentences
On,
has a
in,
main
by,
clause and a
I. Clouds
subordinate
float
clause.
over hills and valleys.
Underline the main
I.
clause and
The
circle the
daffodils
subordinate
bloomed beside
clause
a
in
lake.
each
Between.
sentence.
I. Stars were
was
shining in the
surprised
night
when
sky.
my brother-in-law called
If.
the vendor.
They formed a
2.
line
I
along the
was
share
sure
of a
he
bay.
needed nothing from them.
V. He would
3.
often lie on
He
his
knew that
couch
they
lost
were
in
hungry and
thoughts.
tired.
Q. 14.
4. When I
Discuss
saw
in
them,
groups and write
I
a few
wanted to
lines
offer
on
them food.
A. How you
B.
felt
L
after you saw a
pretended that I
beautiful
was
garden
interested
full
in
of
their
blooming
wares.
flowers.
I
And
was surprised
I feel very
when my
happy and
brother-in-law
refreshed after
called the
seeing the
vendor.
beautiful gardens
2.
full of
I
blooming
was sure
flowers.
he needed
Furthermore,
nothing
the
from
smell
them.
of the flower
3.
can refresh a
He
person's
knew
mind in the
that they
morning
were
or
hungry
any
and
time.
tired.
The
4.
image of
When I
flowers
saw
I like
them,
to keep
I
in my
wanted to
mind
offer
keeps me
them
feeling
food.
relaxed
B.
and
I
refreshed whenever I
pretended
feel
that
stressed.
I was interested in
B.
their
A
wares.
place without
Q.
trees
10.
and flowers.
Listen
And
to a description of
without
dresses worn by
trees, there would
people
be
of some places in
substantially more
India.
carbon
As you
dioxide in the
listen,
air and
match each
significantly
description
less
to the
oxygen.
pictures.
Without trees and plants, there would be no paper, no pencils, even no coffee or tea. But more fundamentally, there would also be no food for animals or us to eat. We need more trees and plants because trees absorb carbon dioxide from the air and release oxygen. 15. A. Let's play a game. Sit in a circle. Your teacher will tell you a story. After a few sentences, he will stop narrating. Each student will continue to narrate the story from the point where the previous one has stopped. Each student is supposed to add 4 to 10 sentences. You may add new characters, events, descriptions, and so on. The one who comes up with the maximum number of sentences will be the winner. B. Now write the story in your own words. Give a suitable title. Ingénieuse. Success. The result of hard work. Once upon a time, there was a small village. Everyone in the village was a kind and hard-working man. They live in unity. The women are busy with their household work and with their children. Raman was a bright student, and everyone from the village praised him. Raman's father is a farmer and mother is a housewife. Raman wanted to become a doctor. But the college is very far from the village, and Raman's father can't afford the expenses of the university. One morning, Raman came home with a very bright smile, and he said to their parents that he topped the class. Everyone is very happy. The father said that he was very happy. Everyone said Raman should go to the town for further study, but the Raman father denied. He said that I am a farmer from a small village. I can't afford the expense, and I am getting old. I can't do the farming now. Raman will help me in farming. Raman became very sad. Every one of the villagers talked with Raman's father and sighed he is a bright student and has a bright future. Let him go, we all help you. Raman's father became emotional and told Raman to go to the town for further study. He became very happy that everyone helped him. Raman went to the town for further study. He also does a part-time job for extra income in the town and study very hard at night. With great hard work, he was able to become a doctor within a few years. When he returned to the village, Raman parents and villagers were very proud of him. Raman opened a pharmacy in the village.